What's up, YouTube fam? It's Ron here with your $2,000 fourth stimulus check and recurring stimulus check update, plus your daily news update, including another very big push for additional stimulus for the American people. Those who have been hit the hardest who rely on fixed income, such as Social Security, SSI, SSDI recipients, new updates coming out by the day, and lately updates coming out by the hour. Things in the world of stimulus are definitely picking up. So, be sure to have your notification bell turned on so that you do not miss out on any of the latest stimulus package and daily news updates right here on our channel. So, you guys, I hope you guys are excited. I'm definitely excited. Let's get right into it. But first, I just want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And for those who are brand new to the channel, my name's Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, cryptocurrency, stock market updates, heck, even gold for that matter. So if you have not already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. That way you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. And let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh yeah, and a very big thanks as usual for you guys always lighting up that like button and making my day. I really can't thank you guys enough for that. I feel like we've built this amazing community and I just want to keep things going, and I want to continue to deliver the daily news to you guys and continue to deliver value. So I really hope that you guys are enjoying what I share with you guys. So a fourth stimulus check is being demanded by over 80 lawmakers right now. In addition to a fourth stimulus check, there are proposals for Social Security stimulus checks, as well as a 2021 increase for Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, and railroad benefits by an extra $200 extra per month or $2,400 per year. And so those are the proposed Social Security changes. Now, lawmakers are actively pushing for additional stimulus checks and direct cash for many Americans who have been hit the hardest during the pandemic, and this pandemic is far from over. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you recognize that the Lambda virus, the Delta variant, all of this is coming out, and it's really making the pandemic seem like it's almost just starting rather than us overcoming things. Now, many Americans who rely on fixed income, such as Social Security recipients, SSI recipients, SSDI recipients, they receive a set amount of money, and during this pandemic, we have only seen the prices of everything go up. Anything from bread, gas, food, chicken. I mean, heck, real estate prices in the entire housing market, all of these prices of everything, all of the valuations of everything has been going up. And, this is a clear sign of inflation. And who's been hit the hardest? Those who have a fixed income. Why? Because their income is fixed. It doesn't go up with the prices of everything. And this is exactly why additional stimulus checks are so needed. It also makes for a bigger argument for the additional $200 per month SSI and Social Security increase or boost that has been proposed. Now, recently, Fortune magazine has just covered that we have not seen the last of stimulus checks. And their article points out that none of the other stimulus was more popular than the one-time $1,200 stimulus check. Even now, as the economy moves into a high growth phase, there are still calls for more stimulus checks. The Change.org petition for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks has already collected more than 2.7 million signatures, and we also have more than 80 lawmakers that are all asking for more stimulus checks. Now, here are some of the recent proposals for stimulus that we know of right now that are actively on the table. So first up, we have the House Republican resolution to end poverty. This covers cash assistance programs, aka stimulus checks, a minimum wage increase, expanded unemployment insurance benefits, cancellation of unpayable debt, affordable and public housing, and free education. So that is a big package if we can get that thing passed. Now, the other bill that is on the table, actually, in fact, there's several bills that are actively on the table for additional stimulus for the American people, is the ABC Act, also known as the Automatic Boost to Communities Act. Now, this one's just straight up stimulus checks. It's a $2,000 fourth stimulus check right out the gate, plus $1,000 monthly stimulus checks until 1 year after the pandemic. Also, you've got the Universal Basic Income bill. This is brought onto the table by Representative Ilhan Omar. She promises a pilot program of universal basic income, aka unconditional stimulus checks, within Congress. Now, 156 top economists are also backing more stimulus checks. Their open letter to the president says direct cash payments are an essential tool that will boost economic security, drive consumer spending, hasten the recovery, and promote certainty at all levels of government and the economy for as long as necessary. Fortune magazine has also showed the political consensus that stimulus checks bring among voters. I mean, let's not forget about the fact that the Georgia runoff elections were literally decided based on whether or not which particular party or political party would actually win was in more support of additional stimulus checks. Now, the newest bill just came out this week from Representative Ilhan Omar. This new bill has been introduced and it was named the Guaranteed Income Bill. Now, this new stimulus bill proposes monthly stimulus checks of $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. Now, I'm not kidding, guys. Now, Omar's official statement about the bill says, "For too long, we have prioritized endless growth while millions are homeless, hungry, or without health care. The pandemic has laid bare these inequalities. We as a nation have the ability to make sure everyone has their basic needs like food, housing, and healthcare met." Now, together with her on this are progressives, Democrats Dwight Evans of Pennsylvania, you've got Marie Newman of Illinois, and Jamal Bowman of New York. Now, they have all endorsed this bill in their own way. But what they're basically saying is that we should take a look at all of the different pilot programs that are happening across the country right now. Now, just recently, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti's most recent budget added a $24 million guaranteed income program that would send $1,000 every month to over 2,000 poor families. So this is proof that this can actually happen. Why? Because it's actively happening right now. Now, this particular bill, if it's passed, would cause this to happen on a much wider scale. Now, to all the naysayers that would probably say that this is probably going to make people lazy, not want to go to work, the data proves them wrong. Guaranteed income pioneer and former Stockton mayor Michael Tubbs proves just how much guaranteed income helps people and it helps the economy. In fact, Senator Bernie Sanders is leading the push on these two historic stimulus packages. And there are two parts to the stimulus package, and we cannot have one without the other. And this is exactly why the acceptance of the first stimulus package is so important, as it will pave the way for the next stimulus package. Here is Senator Bernie Sanders on the latest on the stimulus package at play. Let's listen in.
As you know, the Senate is starting to consider various amendments to this $1 trillion plus infrastructure bill, but you only have a handful of days before the Senate recess. So how do you get this done?
By working very hard and working long hours. My hope and expectation is that this hard infrastructure bipartisan bill will get done by the end of the week, and then we will immediately turn to what we call the reconciliation bill. A bill which I think will have an extraordinarily positive impact on working families, and that will deal with the issues of extending the child tax credit, that $300 a month check for working families for their kids, which has cut childhood poverty in America by 61%. Will reform in a very comprehensive way child care. We're going to expand Medicare to cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids. We're going to finally get the United States to have paid family and medical leave. We're going to put a whole lot of money into affordable housing. And of course, in the midst of this horrible climate crisis that we face, we're going to begin the process of transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel. And when we do all of those things, Wolf, we're going to create millions of good-paying jobs.
You say, Senator, there could be no infrastructure bill, and that's a $1 trillion plus bill, without a reconciliation bill. That's another $3.5 trillion. But can moderate Democrats trust progressives to deliver the votes for infrastructure? And can you trust the moderates to back that $3.5 trillion deal that you want? This is really complicated.
It is. It is extremely complicated, and we look forward to the White House playing an active role in terms of making sure that we have the votes that we need to pass reconciliation. Unlike, obviously, the bipartisan bill, the reconciliation bill, which is really transformative, it begins to address the reality that for decades, Congress has paid a whole lot of attention to the rich and the powerful and campaign contributors and ignored the needs of the working class in this country. So having said that and demanding that the wealthy start paying their fair share of taxes, we're not going to get any Republican support. So we have 0 Democratic votes to spare. But at the end of the day, the House and the Senate are going to have to come together to do something which is overwhelmingly popular among working families. People are sick and tired of seeing the rich get richer and everybody else struggling. They want action, and we're going to give them what I think is long overdue.
Billionaires are not paying their fair share. That's what we've been hearing from the Democratic Party. Now, as you can see here, Bernie Sanders has confirmed the importance of each member of the Democratic Party being on board with the stimulus package, as no Republican votes are expected in support of this package. Now, according to Senator Bernie Sanders, it's being demanded that the wealthy pay their fair share of taxes, and it's not expected that there will be any Republican support on this one. Senator Bernie Sanders is also living up to the name that he's built for himself, and he's really trying to drive this package home and redirect the tax breaks from the wealthy population down to the lower and middle class Americans.
Are you worried, Senator, that the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will bow to pressure from moderate Democrats to decouple the infrastructure deal from the $3.5 trillion spending package?
Well, Speaker Pelosi, I think, has been very strong, and what she understands it is that it is imperative that we pass both, that we cannot go forward with just the bipartisan bill. Look, to be very honest with you, Wolf, physically, I'm a former mayor, so I'm tired of seeing the rich get richer and everybody else struggling. They want action, and we're going to give them what I think is long overdue.
Are you worried, Senator, that the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will bow to pressure from moderate Democrats to decouple the infrastructure deal from the $3.5 trillion spending package?
Well, Speaker Pelosi, I think, has been very strong, and what she understands it is that it is imperative that we pass both, that we cannot go forward with just the bipartisan bill. Look, to be very honest with you, Wolf, physically, I'm a former mayor, so I know a little bit about roads and sidewalks and bridges and all that stuff. It is terribly important. We have an enormous amount of work to be done in that area. But human infrastructure, the needs of working families and our children and our elderly, that's actually more important. So both of these bills have got to go forward together. And when we do that, we will create many, many good-paying jobs. And one of the things I'm really excited about is we go forward in transforming our energy system and trying to reverse climate change. We're going to create a civilian climate corps, which will provide hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs for young people and give them the opportunity to lead the effort in trying to save this planet. So there's just a lot that we have to do. Now is the time to do it. And I will tell you that you got a lot of special interests, the drug companies who are going to lower the cost of prescription drugs, the healthcare industry, the fossil fuel industry, you name the big money interests that are going to try to defeat us. But it's important that we hang in there together and that we pass this bill.
We'll see what happens this week and in the coming weeks. Senator Sanders, thanks as usual for joining us.
So, as you can see, there is a lot that Senator Bernie Sanders has just covered. It's all about finalizing part one of the two stimulus packages. There are numerous headlines covering the Senate vote, and the next step is part two. This is huge and very much needed progress. Lots of new details are coming out by the hour now. Senator Bernie Sanders and the Democrats, by and large, are really trying to drive this package home and redirect the tax breaks from the wealthy population down to the lower and middle class Americans. Many people who don't have kids or don't necessarily qualify for unemployment benefits could really use a fourth stimulus check or ideally recurring stimulus checks. More on this one later. Comment down below if you don't necessarily qualify for unemployment benefits but could really benefit from a fourth stimulus check. I'd love to hear from my community, guys. Right now, we should celebrate another major stimulus win as Arkansas officially just became the third state to win their unemployment lawsuit and reinstate their pandemic unemployment benefits, including the $300 weekly unemployment boost. In a Thursday ruling, Judge Herbert Wright said, as a lawsuit against the state continues, the state must restart benefits for Arkansas residents. Wright wrote that plaintiffs are likely to suffer harm if the state doesn't restore financial aid, and that the court has serious doubts that the governor and the director of the workforce services are acting within the scope of their duties. So that means that around 70,000 Arkansas residents can celebrate finally getting their much needed unemployment insurance benefits back. This is definitely good news as more and more states are taking their governors to court and actually demanding to get their unemployment money back. I mean, this is money that these people deserved. If the state has acted, effectively, outside of the scope of the law, then technically they owe their money back. Maryland and Indiana already won their unemployment back. They got the exact same deal that Arkansas got, where unemployment was reinstated while a final ruling is pending. But Ohio wasn't so lucky. A state judge denied a similar request to restore the $300 weekly pandemic supplement to jobless residents while he considers the case. Still though, the plaintiffs will immediately appeal according to their attorney. We're also waiting on word from the other state lawsuits. You've got Louisiana, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, and Oklahoma. A lot is at stake right now. Overall, that's already 9 out of the 26 states who already ended their unemployment benefits early. I honestly would not be surprised if we ended up with all 26 states filing lawsuits and getting all that money back. Let's look forward to that update, right? Now, the governor's argument was that the unemployment was holding people back from looking for work. Now, of course, the data actually shows otherwise. It says here that Homebase and UKG, which offer time management and payroll services, they issued separate analyses indicating that employment has not increased in states that ended federal unemployment benefits early. Economists believe it's actually other factors like COVID fears and care responsibilities and early retirements that play a larger role than the benefits in a lack of job searches. So basically, many of the Republican-led states had prematurely ended the unemployment benefits provided by the federal government because there was a labor shortage. Now, understandably, they tried to address the matter by getting rid of what they believe was the holdup. The argument for many months was that people were making more money through unemployment, and so that was why they were not going to work. But the data has shown that although unemployment benefits being removed has not increased the demand of job seekers in the marketplace, clearly there were other factors holding people back or keeping people from looking for new jobs. I think that people have also gotten a wake-up call that pay should definitely be better than it was before. I mean, just look at what employers are willing to offer now. Target just offered to pay 100% of college tuition and textbooks in their bid to attract additional workers or new employees. Walmart, Chipotle, and Starbucks offer similar debt-free education programs. It's almost like these businesses were holding out all this time, right? Unemployment also got a major last-minute win in the bipartisan infrastructure bill. The bipartisan Senate group who crafted the bill was initially considering netting $50 billion in revenue from shoring up the integrity of unemployment insurance and cutting down on fraud. Experts and advocates raised doubts that fraud even cost that much, and that fraud measures could worsen the lives of jobless Americans already struggling with ailing UI systems. But thankfully, they dropped that provision in the bill that was released on Sunday evening. Next, Biden has already started on his campaign for more stimulus with his latest call for the people with long-haul COVID symptoms to be protected under federal disability laws. He announced that we're bringing agencies together to make sure Americans with long COVID who have a disability have access to the rights and resources that are due under the disability law. That includes accommodations and services in the workplace, schools, and healthcare systems. The Departments of Health, Justice, Education, and Labor released guidance explaining that long COVID can be a disability under various federal civil rights laws. For example, the guidance says long COVID can qualify as a disability under the ADA or American Disability Act if it substantially limits one or more major life activities. Those including performing manual tasks, sleeping, eating, breathing, concentrating, and communicating. Data shows that about 30% of COVID patients reported persistent symptoms as long as 9 months after the illness. These symptoms included fatigue, shortness of breath, sleeping disorders, fevers, gastrointestinal issues, anxiety and depression, and so-called brain fog. So you see, the angle that President Biden is working is very similar to the argument for more stimulus checks. The pandemic and its effects are not over, and with all of these new variants and the fact that cases are rising right now to the extent of even exceeding the number of cases that we had seen during the height of the pandemic is far from over. So it definitely makes sense. It'll all make more sense in our next video when we cover more of the latest and most accurate stimulus updates in our daily news updates. So I just want to thank you guys for always choosing this channel for your daily info. And thank you guys so much for always lighting up the like button. Your likes, your comments, your shares, they really keep the channel going and growing. I just want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel and being with us every single day. Also, drop us a comment down below. Let me know if there's a topic that you want me to cover on our next daily news update. I'd love to hear from you guys on that. Also, take it a step further and hit the join button and join the official community right next to the subscribe button. So anyway, guys, that's all for the news on your $2,000 fourth stimulus check and recurring stimulus check update, plus the daily news update, including another big stimulus win in the form of monthly stimulus checks, the latest update in unemployment lawsuits coming through, and of course, we heard directly from Senator Bernie Sanders on the latest updates on that. So I really hope that you guys appreciated all of the stimulus goodness for the day. And as always, thank you guys so much for liking the video, sharing it, hit that join button down below. Definitely subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you're notified as soon as we release new videos and updates. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe.